Hello. Right, in this one I just want to go through the database which configures the mission and sets out all of the options and how it runs. We pretty much have a database for every single one of the modules, and then a couple of MISC ones and the ones that sit on top. In each one of them there'll be a structure. Generally, I want you to be able to apply this framework to any mission. If you have this module switched on, for example, like I showed you in the last video, and that module is going to reference these options, I want to make it as easy as possible for everyone. So I don't want you to go into the base manager file and have to piss around with the code in here. I want you to just be able to come in here and go, right, well, my warehouse is called this. These are how many stock objects I've got, and these are my options that I want in this mission. So you generally have a section where, with all of this kind of stuff, which sets out naming conventions and objects for the code, so that the code can run automatically without you having to mess with it. And then you'll have an O section in each one of them, which is the options. In this one, I've been fairly I've put notes on this, so you can read the notes. But I can't even remember what I wrote these like weeks ago. I don't know what that is without reading it myself, really. U is the upper limit of random number of stock ads. Okay. Lower limit. Integration to the DCS warehouse. Well, that should be false. Dink. That's referenced in another global, which I think is at the top there, yeah. And then lower threshold. So if have a look at the threshold of the stock and then do something if it should reach that. If that's true, then we're setting that at 10% here, yeah. So it's fairly self-explanatory, this section. Not every module at this moment in time, because we're in beta, is commented on, but by the time it's all finished, it will be. Oops. The closed warehouse, we're going to spawn. This is probably the biggest one. So we got the red section, which includes all of their templates for the air, ground, air to air. Then we've for the AI system, we've got a score for each different type of unit, and then we've got zones and names of those zones. And we're basically telling the code that this is how my mission is set up, because the code then, like I said, will run automatically. There's nothing that you need to change in the code, it just references an object here. So it will reference zref1. It won't reference zref-Godata. It'll reference zref1 or airfield1. So this could be on any map. It could be, you put this on Persian Gulf and you change the names here. It doesn't matter. The code will be referencing numbers of objects within the array. So it makes it really flexible. I've got a number of options in here as well, so you can turn the automatic ground and air systems on or off. Then we've got a couple of balancing options, which you can call back with the menu system whilst you're in the game. So if you wanted more air spawns or less air spawns, this balance number is referenced, and that can be changed in game. This is numbers here for the strength of a base as the red AI manager scores it, and these are numbers to determine when it feels like its base is low or needs attention, or when it's not quite strong enough and it still needs focus, etc. You turn the AI off here, and other looping options, and they've got options that sort of go across modules as well. You've got all your zone information here. Don't know what that is. Then we've got the DCS integration one, which is a similar kind of thing. You've just got options. The base manager one is a big one, because the base manager references this and integrates it with simple slot blocker. So these are the bases for caucuses. Obviously, you'd have to change these to playgrounds, but then within each base you've got a set of actions, and you've also got a set of slots. So let's find one that's actually out of 21. Yeah. So you know, we tell it that certain flags here. There's a CTLD pickup zone here. So when Blue 4 capture this base, it's going to run this function with this as an argument. When Blue 4 capture this base, we're going to unlock all of these slots for them to use, which are spawns, client spawns at this base. That's for the lightweight event module. Some of these tables won't be populated because they're actually populated by the code itself. This is your persistence module. What you want to save, whether you want to save specific flags, should always be true really, that whether you want to save credits, whether you want to save the CTLD state, that's really useful. If, for example, you've built 3 SAMs and you've set the limit at 5, if you don't save the CTLD database and bring it back in again, then the next load up of the mission you make another 5 and then you've got 8. I did originally save each one of these separately, SAMs, base, statics, which, you know, saving all the fobs and stuff in the field, ships. But in phase 1 I pretty much encompassed it all under base, but you may want to turn those back on and then you can define those by zones. The code is slightly different for each one of them, ships and statics and fobs and stuff like that. Fobs there. And then saving of scores, etc. And then these are schedules. These are quite important because if you it's going to affect the server performance in multiplayer quite a lot if you've got these too often. You know, if you've got this at 40 seconds and 60 seconds and 30 seconds and 90 seconds, it's too often. You want to spread them out a little bit more, and you don't want to be putting them on rounded off even numbers either. You know, like you don't want to be doing exactly 3 minutes and this exactly 4 minutes, and then, you know, because eventually they'll all converge. Then you may get big stutters, or you may get the Americans getting booted out of the game or whatnot because the ping's a little bit low. Then these are all the save zones. And then you've got the optimization system for the SAMs. I'll go through this in another module, but effectively this allows you to have a lot of SAM units in the game. I've got 1100 units in phase 1 mission. I would think that 50% of those are SAMs. Now, most of those SAMs just sit there and do nothing. But whilst players are not there, they are still searching for them. So their radars are still on and they're still searching for enemies, and they're taking up your CPU time. This module turns them off effectively, keeps them in the mission but turns them off without deleting them, so that they're not impacting the mission performance until something gets near it, and then it'll turn it on. It also has code in there to make the SAMs a bit more realistic. It allows them to move out the way of missiles incoming, or randomly move out the way, or change their position to make it a bit harder, and lots of options for that as well. The Intel module is just currently in development. Not many options for this at the moment. And then we've got the score system, the flight time system, the escort system, and some MISC stuff, which will contain all the messages for things. So you don't have to search through the code and change. Obviously, this is set up for my mission and has all of the explanations for my mission. If you wanted to change this and wrap this framework around something new, again, I want to make it as easy as possible for you. I don't want you to have to search through all the code. To find the strings to change, I'll put them all in here, and you can just change them in here. And I'll put little explanations as to what that string is for and things. And I think there's a couple of points in here that I've not probably expanded that are like that. You know, here in the base one for sure. There's quite a few of these little message strings, and that's it. This framework probably looks a bit this options database maybe might look a bit daunting at the minute, but don't worry, it's not. Most of it, unless you wanted to wrap this around another mission, you won't need to change. Only a couple of options you may want to change, and I will make sure once we're on a final version that is fully commented up. Make it easier for you. Cool. Next time we will start on the modules themselves, so you know what they do. Goodbye.